For the whipped cream cake, we are going to be using 1000 grams of whipped cream powder, and then 1000 grams of Hollandia milk. Now this will give you stabilized whipping cream. You don't have to add gelatin. This will give you exactly what you want. The ratio here is just 50-50, that is 1:1. They are equal in proportion as long as grams is concerned, but always weigh in grams. Now after pouring in the milk, stir with your spatula to mix it very well. Now I want you to know something. Before I started, I placed my bowl in the fridge, my whisk in the fridge, that is the balloon whisk, okay? And even the powdered sugar, being the whipped cream itself in powdered form and the packet, I also placed it in the fridge, okay? Now everything is cold. If you want to get a better result, you must make them cold. Then I whip it for 4 to 5 minutes. It should not exceed this. If you do, the rising that you are seeing will go down and you will not be able to work with it again. Please, it's not something you start whipping and forget about it. Just be there and monitor the time. 4 to 5 minutes and you are good to go. Okay? Now for our chocolate preparation, we are going to be using 100 grams of dark chocolate. And we're going to pieces it in chunks to melt. Then for the white one too, we're going to be using 100 grams. And it will also be pieced in chunks for melting. Next, we place our water on fire. When it gets hot, now you place the chunk chocolates, the ones you have cut into pieces. Place it on top of the hot water and begin to stir until it melts. This is what I mean by cutting, okay? Now I have already placed it and I've started stirring it. For the dark chocolate, I didn't add anything. I placed it on top of the hot water and started. You start stirring. You can see the chunks are still there. You start stirring it until it is fully melted. Just be patient with it. You don't have to be in a hurry. So you can see it's turning liquid. Nothing was added at all, okay? Now, after that, I start with my white chocolate. But white chocolate is a bit tricky and a bit strong when it melts. So what I normally do is to add butter to it, a little butter at a time. But for now, we're still trying to melt it. So while this is going on, I leave this with my girl. I will now go in and use the dark chocolate so that it will not become hard again. So now I get my parchment paper, place it on a table, then place all these cutters. You know the cutters. We normally use it to make color lily. Now place them on top of the parchment paper and then begin to fill them in. The aim is to get a love shape by the time the chocolate firms up. Now you can do this with any type of cutter you have. It can be love shape like this, it can be squares, depending on what you want to do. It can be a triangular shape, okay? This is just my own idea of making a chocolate mold. I have other mold which I'm also going to show you, okay? I use them, but they are not as big as what I have here. They are very, very small. That is, their shapes are smaller, and these are the mold I'm talking about. If you want to use this mold, it's in the market. You buy them. All you need to do is to fill them with the chocolate and by the time they firms up, you use them on your cake. But like I said, they are not as big as what I'm using right now. That's why sometimes I prefer to use my cutters, place them on parchment paper. And again, the parchment paper actually is supposed to be on top of a tray so that you will not be moving it anyhow. But here I'm working on top of table direct. I'll be telling somebody to help me lift it up. But it will be better you use like all these your meat pie trays or all these trays, baking trays, to place your parchment paper before you start using it, okay? So after filling them in, the next thing we're going to do is to arrange them on a tray and then take them to the fridge. Either tray or your board, anyone you know that can enter this, that can enter your fridge. You just place them there and straight to the fridge, and then allow them to firm up for like 10 minutes. And once it is 10 minutes, you are good to go. You now remove them from the mold or from the cutters and then use it and decorate your cake. Now look at it. So while that is going on, we're still working on our chocolate, white chocolate. So I just added a little butter to it, and I'm still stirring. A little butter, take note, don't add too much. Let's say I added 2 teaspoons. Let's say 2 teaspoons in it, just to make it lighter, because I want to be using it to pipe. If the butter is too much, it may not firm up, so don't put too much. So after melting, you can see how the melted one is looking. It's a bit thick, but then it's pipeable. I put them inside my piping bag. So now that's it. In my piping bag, I've not actually cut them out. It's a new one. So when I start, I'm just going to cut them out, and then I use it to design inside that particular chocolates. That is the mold I'm using, the cutters. You can make polka dots, that is dot. You can draw, you can even use it to write people's name, depending on what you want. But for this one, I'm not writing a name because I already have a name I want to put. That is, I have something I want to put on top of the cake. But if you don't, you can decide to write abbreviation of names on top of it using your white chocolate. It will give you a very unique design. So I'm using it to fill up the holes again. Although this is not part of the class I'm teaching, but I will show you at the end of the day where I removed it and place it on top of the cake. That is, place it on the body of the cake. It still makes it unique and fine. So that's the parchment paper, and somebody is helping me lift it, then straight to my tray. I just adjust the tray and try to adjust the parchment paper and try to put the mold. So place your mold also. All of them will now go into the fridge. Okay, you can see I just picked some. So now for our whipping cream, we have already trimmed our cake, which I've showed you in the other video. So it will be a repetition of video to show you how I did this one again. So what I did there was to join my marble cake and my vanilla cake at the same time. Then I trim. After trimming, now I want to start covering it with the whipping cream. Now Whipping cream is very soft, not heavy. That is, it's not weightier like it doesn't have weight like butter. Okay, so it's something that is easy to work with, but you must be careful because it's very fragile. Don't put all your strength on it when you're trying to smoothen it. Just take it lightly. Now, what I'm trying to do is to first of all hide the crumbs. I can do it anyhow. I can say let me go round. I can say let me go dot dot all over it. I can say just anyhow, provided it's not the main covering. Okay. So now you go around with your scraper. So now I'm trying to use one on the scraper to close up all the dents I'm seeing there. All the parts that is not well closed, I'll just close it with my scraper. That is the ones on the scraper. And after I'll go up and then I'll start again. Just to hide the crumbs, okay? As a beginner, this will help you a lot. But if I am to work as somebody who has been handling it, I wouldn't need to do this. But I know that when I was a beginner, I started like this and it helps a lot. So with time, you will know how to apply it direct without having to stain your cake. So you can see I've started applying it now. Just like the buttercream, it's the same method I'm using. The same method. I put all my whipping cream into a piping bag, as many as 4 of them, and then one that finishes I change. Okay. I'm trying to fill up the sides that are still hollow. Okay. So continue going around until you're able to see the better part of this smoothness. Okay. Just make sure you continue until it is very smooth. Now fill up the sides that has holes and go again, just like you are doing it in buttercream. No difference. Now with your pilot knife, just go around the top part of the cake to make sure everything is well circulated. And well covered also. Now you can see when I'm doing this, some are popping out of the mouth. So all you need to do is to go around again with your scraper. Then after that, you will see it come up, and then you use your pilot knife to lie them down. Now you can see, gradually when you remove, you clean. When you remove, you clean. That's the only way you can get it smooth. If you don't do this, you will never get it smooth. When you remove it, you clean, just like that, and you're able to form your sharp edge using your whipping cream. Okay? You go around again to lift up again. Then you clean again, just like that, until it is a bit perfect. You can see when I didn't clean it, the thing will be rubbing on top. That's why it's always good you clean before you go back. Now clean the side of the board, that is the side of your cake that is on the board, because after putting your design you may not be able to clean it well again. So this is the perfect time to do the cleaning, and after that I think the designs can start now. Now, like I told you in the buttercream cake class, the truth is that at this point, whatever you decide to put now is what you want. Anything you decide to add, whether you buy strawberry in the market and put, whether you decide to put your drip, it is your choice. Design now is your choice. So you can sit down and sketch your designs, or sit down and think it out. So now this is the chocolate sauce that I'll be using. I believe all of you know this in the market. All the cake, majority of the cake designers are selling it. So I'm now going to use it to do my drip. You can still use your chocolate, just melt it and use it. It will still work. Okay, so I'm now going to be using it to do my drip. And if at the end, if along the road I'm noticing so much gap, I'll go back and fill it up. Now filling up the size I felt there is much gap. So you now rule your line. When you are trying to draw this line, make sure the mouth of whatever you are using is not touching the cake. Okay, so that you'll be able to get a straight line. It's only when you're ending you can touch the mouth on the cake. Okay, now use your toothpick or your skewer and begin to roll directly to create this shape. You can go straight, back and front, or you can go in a slanty way, but this one I'm going straight, back and front. And you can decide to go only front. However you decide, the design will still be unique. Now, this is my star nozzle. I'm not using the smallest one. I'm using the one following the smallest one. My star nozzle. Then I'm putting in my whipping cream now to start piping. Because this cake is big, that's why I decided to use something bigger. Now for the chocolate, it's 10 minutes now. And we want to start checking it. This is what we have. It's very easy to fall out. As soon as you pick it up, it will just come out of the cutter. So first we start with the chocolate, and then before we start piping, so however you decide to put it, it's your own creative design. Nobody will ask you why did you put it like this. As a matter of fact, every design you create on your cake becomes unique, that when somebody sees it, the person wants to do the same thing. So you can do as many shapes as you like and use it on your cake anyhow you want it, and it will come out very beautiful. You can see it on the body of the cake. Okay, decide where you want to put it and you are good to go. Okay, next we start with our piping. I believe you know this one now, just as if you are trying to squat it so many times. That's how you pipe. So after going around, you just pipe some small stars inside where you'll be placing something like your chocolate gold coin. Those gold coin, chocolate is inside of it. Some of us don't even know. Now this is going to be carrying our gold coin. You can as well decide not to put it, even when it is like this before the coin. Without piping this last one, your cake is ready. But these are the extra step you take because this is actually a dessert cake, in order to give it loads and loads and loads. Okay, guys, this is actually a dessert cake decoration, so it carries a lot. You can buy fruits and cut and put kiwi, strawberries, whatever you decide to use. It's always beautiful. So after adding my gold coin, I think I will stop, but I'm just going to show you a picture of when I remove the other chocolates from those molds and place them on the body of the cake. Like I said, it's all your choice. Anyhow you want, you can do it. You can decide to use only that type. So now you put your topper, your cake topper, And this is your final result. Thanks for watching. See you in the next class.